to just peel like sentiment away from headlines, right? You'd think that this has been kind of a terrible maybe start to the 2025 selling season. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I mean, I
wouldn't call it terrible.
I don't know. It just seems like, but I mean, it just feels like the beat on the street is that, it's not a great time to buy a house and it's not a great time at all. And I mean, some of the doom prophets on YouTube are going absolutely wild on price reductions and, I mean, and other such things. But like, I mean, let's look at it through this lens. What's going on with mortgage applications? Because that would suggest, not just an interest, but a sincere interest. If you're going to take that step and you're going to apply for a mortgage, at that point you're saying, yeah, I'm pretty serious about buying a house. What's going on in that space?
Yeah. I mean, look, you look at mortgage applications and, in the last week, they decreased, from the previous week. But ultimately, they're a little bit higher than they were, a year ago. So you do have, I mean, look, we had a problem in April, and the big problem in April was, fear. You turn on the TV, you see the stock market correction. And you start to think, well, look, I got to check my 401k and and maybe things are not going so good in the economy. Look, the stock market's not the economy, but, it does tend to lead the economy. And so people panicked, right? And so, you pause when you filled with fear about your future incomes. You take a pause. You don't go out and buy a car or buy a new house. And so that's what happened in the housing market in April. I look at the data and what do I see? I see a small, a modest recovery in May. The first couple of weeks of May, you see a bit of an uptick from the April dip. But then again, this budget conversation comes back on and mortgage rates starts higher. Right. And so I think mortgages have gone up maybe 10, 15 basis points. And that's causing, slowing again. Right. And so, this home shopping season has been just plagued with headwinds, sellers coming back initially, buyers starting to make their returns slowly, but so many headwinds, one after the other. And I think that's affecting the shopping season. Now, here's why I'm so hopeful. I'm hopeful that with more homes on the market, on the for sale market, you're going to see more sales. You're seeing it. I mean, you're looking at, first of all, that's always been true. That's been true historically. That as inventory rises, right? When there's more stuff on the shelves, people go out and buy the stuff. When there's nothing to buy on the shelves, well, people don't buy anything. And so I think as long as the U.S. economy remains on pretty solid ground, we talked about in our previous episode, we talked about the fact that, a pullback potentially in tariffs, a increase in, government spending coupled with tax cuts are all going to help maybe offset some of the negative demand pressures that we got from the tariffs, from the higher tariffs, initially. And so that's, going to cause economic growth to accelerate, or at the very least, not decelerate any further. And so you put that together. So long as you have a pretty decent economy, if you have more homes on the for sale market, you should have more home sales. And that's my hope. Right.
Yeah. I don't get a sense right now that there are super heavy duty hardships in getting a mortgage application approved, at this point. I don't sense that. I mean, employment pretty good.
Scores of applicants, pretty good.
Pretty
right?
good, right? Yeah, right.
Yeah. And so, I mean, and you're seeing it with builders. So, existing homeowners just selling their homes, well, they also are impacted by market volatility, right? The mortgage rate volatility, the news headlines. And so if they see there's a panic on the street, what do? Sellers also pull back. And then your inventory doesn't rise as much. And if inventory doesn't increase, you also don't see more sales. You look at the new construction builders, and even though home sales for builders are also slowing down, they're still increasing, right? Like the pace of increase has slowed down for sure, but new home sales, the sales of newly built homes is still increasing. It's been increasing.
How many houses short are we? I saw your CEO speaking on I think he was on CNBC.
My Zillow CEO?
Yeah, on a flight. And he threw out a number, and I just want to see if you get the same number that he got. So this is a quiz.
What was the number?
I think it said it was 4.5 million.
That's right. It's my number.
Well, I'm glad he got it right.
Yeah, that's right. Of course he got it right. He got it right.
So, I just keep going back to that, to that number in the conversations that we have about the housing market. I mean, it's like there's still the demand is there. And I think that, not everybody who wants to buy a house can afford to buy a house. But there are a lot of people out there who can't afford to buy a house who are buying homes. And so, it's, I don't know. It's never not an interesting time in the housing industry, right? There's always something happening.
And here's the truth. The bottom line is, if mortgage rates increase, right, the risk to my forecast, then people will tend to delay their move into the for sale market. And of course, that means the rental market remains somewhat tighter, right? You got strong rental demand. And so that's essentially what tends to happen. You have older, millennials who are just still waiting for their opportunity to go and be able to go out and buy their first home. And those people are there. They want to move. I wrote, last week, preferences haven't changed. You hear some people, like people don't want to buy a house anymore. That's not true. Preferences haven't changed. Affordability is the challenge, which is why, the higher mortgage rates present a risk. But what's the risk? The risk is that people could delay their purchase decision. I've been saying since the very start of this season, this home shopping season, it's likely that the peak of the home shopping season has just been delayed. I still expect higher sales in 2025 than we've had in 2024. And so I might be right. I might be wrong, but we'll be checking.
Yeah.
And if I'm right, trust me, I'll be doing a dance. I'll be doing a dance right here on this podcast.
And if you're right, you'll be the first person to tell me that you're right. So I look forward to hearing that from you.